Just over 3 years ago, I walked into a friend's house in Santa Monica, and there sat an older gentleman. He was a body worker, and he had done body work for almost 50 years. And it turns out that his special sauce was ketamine. Not just ketamine, as you may understand it, IV, IM, or lozenge. No, it was rectal ketamine. So essentially, the ketamine was provided in a syringe. You simply went into the restroom, self-applied, and then you got down on the table, and this body worker did incredible body work for 2 hours. The way that he described it is transformation, not transcendence. So many people in the psychedelic space are obsessed with seeing the peak, are obsessed with ego dissolution, are obsessed with getting out of their body. And yet there's so much healing that can happen by going into the body. And this is what's so beautiful about the combination between ketamine and bodywork. Ketamine has been used for decades as an anesthetic in emergency rooms. Its antidepressant qualities weren't actually discovered until the 1990s. So because ketamine is an anesthetic, when it's used and applied, particularly from a rectal perspective, there's a capacity to not feel the same level of pain that you might feel in intense bodywork sessions. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when I say bodywork, it's more than just a massage. It's something that might be called rolfing or structural integration. It's really the process of getting deep into fascia and tissue and releasing contractions, working through stuck energy. That process in itself can be incredible because so much of our trauma, so much of our challenge is actually unconscious, and the body represents the unconscious. There was a book written many years ago called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. And in that book, Bessel van der Kolk talks about how even if we can't cognitively understand things that have happened to us in the past, the body remembers everything. And so using that combination of ketamine and body work, the anesthetic, plus getting deep into fascia and tissue allows for these energetic releases, allows for a catharsis of anger and sadness and fear and guilt and shame, a total release so that we can actually get into the pain and into the challenges as a way to transform our very process of integration. So what happened when I went down to Santa Monica, I got on the table, I ended up having the most transformative experience in my life up to that point in time. I remember calling a friend just an hour or two after that combination of rectal ketamine with bodywork and telling her this was like doing a week of plant medicine condensed into 2 hours. All of a sudden, this intuitive capacity, this feeling into my body, my intuition totally expanded and opened up. The mind stopped racing. And what was really cool is during the body work, the facilitator, the practitioner, would have me do deep breaths whenever I got into a physical place that was really stuck or painful. And by reprogramming me to breathe deeply whenever I felt a contraction, it helped me to automatically do that for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks afterwards, where whenever I would get slightly constricted, whenever I would feel anxiety, I would automatically do 3 deep breaths to help reset my nervous system. Now, the research on this is preliminary. This is very much a cutting edge, sort of pioneering out there thing. There are a handful of practitioners and more every day that are learning to work not only with ketamine, but also with things like psilocybin as part of this process of transformation. And this speaks to the importance of synergistic modalities when working with psychedelics. It's critical that we don't just look at psychedelics as a magic pill, but that we're really looking at how can we integrate psychedelics with mindfulness, with body work, with nature, with breath work, with cold, as non-specific amplifiers, and when combined with other modalities that are contemplative or that are healing, psychedelics ultimately accelerate that path of healing and transformation. And I can't recommend enough this combination of ketamine with body work. There's only so much that we can emotionally process from the neck up, when we get deep into that body workspace and we have the help of an anesthetic like ketamine, it can help us to move incredible energy and heal like we've never healed before.
Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The psychedelic space is evolving every day, and we have a ton of amazing content that's coming out, and subscribing is the best way to keep up to date with all of that great content.